Hi everyone, welcome to the channel dedicated to sharing the profound insights and wisdom of Andromedan Contactee Alex Collier. If you're new here, you're in for a journey that expands your mind and consciousness, bringing you closer to understanding the messages from the fifth density Andromedan extraterrestrials. For those returning, we're grateful for your continued support. Before we dive into today's enlightening content, we have a small favor to ask. If you find value in the knowledge shared in this video, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your engagement helps us amplify Alex Collier's message, allowing us to reach a larger audience with these vital messages. We'd also love to hear from you, so please engage with the comments below. Whether it's a question, your thoughts, or even just an emoji for the sake of engagement, every comment counts. We read every single comment, and your feedback is incredibly valuable to us, as it all contributes to our mission of expanding this community. So please don't hesitate to leave your thoughts below. Additionally, if you'd like to support us further, consider giving a super thanks tip by clicking the heart with the $sign. This small gesture allows us to continue bringing you more of Alex's messages, unfiltered and directly from his lifelong experiences with the Andromedans. Today's video includes a compilation of several of the many important questions Alex Collier has received over the past few years, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video.
Two questions about DNA. The first one is, how do we access that data that is inside our DNA? And why can't we just raise our DNA frequency by intent?
Well, I believe that's happening. I mean, people are doing that with meditation. There is no one way to do it or not to do it. But the whole idea here is to plant the seed so that now you're thinking about it. Now you're saying to myself, well, wait a minute, I can do this. I don't have to wait for nature to do it. I don't have to wait for God to do it. You know, I want to do this. I can do this. And yes, you can. Okay? I don't know any specific way. I don't know that there is a specific way to do it. Okay? I don't think that I do think that the experiments in the 60s with LSD and many of those other things was that the intelligence agencies were already tapping into what's possible, and they were trying to figure it out using chemical means as opposed to truly working on their spiritual selves. They approached it from a space of ego, okay, a separation from spirit. Okay, well, we're not doing that. We're embracing spirit. We're embracing ourselves and all that is. So I have no doubt that people are doing this. And you know, it may be that there's a lot more people who are already doing this and have their third strand. They're just keeping their heads down, okay? Because it isn't time, because the nut jobs, the fruitcakes, they're losing it. And, you know, it could be that there's this sequence of events that are meant to occur, and then everybody that has this knowledge, that is this knowledge, comes forth and says, okay, guys, this is the moment. This is what it is. Let's do it. Okay, let's do it. Let's do the shift. And it happens. We just, boom, we make the leap. And it's over. Okay, they're done. They're gone. And we're free. Okay, and I've shared that with you before in the past about how it appears to me this is supposed to happen. So, Allura, is that who asked the question?
Alaria.
Alaria. Girl, you work it. Okay, you work it. Let us know, if you choose to, how you're doing. You know, for me, it's nature. It's you know, it's laughing. It's being in a space of joy and laughing and humor. Being with loved ones. You know, another really good way to share DNA information with people is hugging. If you can hug someone for more than 60 seconds, which may to some people seem like an eternity, okay, or be in a setting of pure intimacy with someone, but you're either spooning or you're hugging for more than 60 seconds, your energy fields have completely merged. You have shared all of your data forever, okay, of who you are with each other, whether you're aware of it or not. They have it. And that only happens with trust. The trust has to be there, okay? Now, when you meet someone that you're immediately repulsed with, then you have an issue with that person. There's a recognition that there was in the past or in the future, there was no trust, okay? That's what that's about. And you have to trust that. The heart always knows first, all right? So trust that, and this is why they say the heart space. You need to come from a heart space. That's because the heart's the wisest part of us in physical form. It knows it all because that's the seat of the soul, okay? But that's a way to do it if you can, or to, be sitting next to someone where your bodies are touching. That's where your energy fields are completely merging with each other, and you are sharing information. A DNA memory, you're sharing yourself, your story with them, and the body, they're getting it. Okay, it's all about connection, folks. It's all about connection. So that was a good question, because that was something that I thought about last night that I wanted to share, and I'm getting old, things just fly away.
They just leave. Yeah, there's only 7 at the time, I keep on dreaming about extreme weather situations. Are we flickering back and forth between dimensions or a parallel universe?
Okay. Yes, the weather's weird, and it's going to get weirder because the Earth's electromagnetic field is fluctuating. Part of this has to do with the sun. This also has to do with other planetary bodies that are entering our solar system. Okay, and if you were to pay attention to Russian television, they're talking about this other planetary issues pretty regularly on their television broadcasts, which is why the Russians are the bad guys to the West. Okay, because Western governments have not prepared the people for any of the shit that's coming. All they did was think about themselves. Big shock, big surprise, right? And they don't want anybody talking about it because they don't want the people to rebel, okay? Because they were not thought about or even considered worthy to continue. That's all going to work itself out. As I have said all along, there is intervention, and it is not our destiny for humanity to be destroyed, okay? But it's going to be interesting to see exactly how it plays out, and I'm looking forward to those who are behind this enormous betrayal of humanity to get their comeuppance, okay? That's the warrior side of me, not the empathetic side of me. The empathetic side of me would say, we need to forgive them, and they'll eventually come around. My warrior side says that's not going to happen. Okay, so if you were to replace the word universe to timeline, you would be much closer, Sylvia, to what's happening. There's merging of timelines. You also have very heavy fourth density frequencies merging with the Earth experience. As our frequency, as the Schumann frequency, the morphic frequency, whatever term you want to use, as it continues to get higher, we merge more and more into fourth density, and the energies, those frequencies are merging. Now, when that happens, our DNA begins to read and register fourth density frequencies. That triggers inside of us fourth density DNA memories, you see. And this is why some people are becoming a little batty. They don't know what's going on. They know they're shifting. They know that there's something happening to them, but they don't know how to put it in words, and they're afraid to talk about it because the first thing a doctor's going to do is say, here, you know, you've got this, you've got that, you need to take Ritalin, you need to take Prozac, you need to take all this shit, you know, to make you stupid, okay? That's what they'll do. That's exactly what they're going to do. So no one's talking. No one is sharing, you know, at the highest levels what's going on, and at all trying to explain it to humanity. This is what's happening. Not all of them know, but those at the very top, they damn sure know what's going on. And, you know, they just don't care. They just don't care. They hope, you know, they hope we back ourselves into the swamp and take ourselves out of the game, because that leaves them in power, okay? It's you know, it is such a bad script, you know, that if I weren't living it with everyone else on this planet, I would say it would be impossible to write, okay? But it's it. I mean, we're in it. We're in this B movie, okay, where the wackiest people on it are the ones running it. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Hello, hello.
a civil war in the United States would be an absolute disaster for the planet. And I'll tell you why. The United States is a very, very unique country. Not better, it's just unique. And it's unique in this respect. It didn't copy anything before it. Nothing. Monarchies copied monarchies. Communist countries copied communist countries. Socialist countries copied socialist countries. Tyrannies copied tyrannies. Okay? But the United States was unique, and it was different. Okay? The only country to have a actual Bill of Rights that protects the people from its government. The only one. There hasn't been another one. There wasn't one before us, and there really isn't one today where people have rights. And the United States was the culmination of probably 1,000 years of yearning by the populace to be free, to want freedom. And when the United States came to be, and it made mistakes, you know, yes, it was founded by, many of them were slave owners, not all of them, but many of them were. They did try at the founding of the country to abolish slavery, but South Carolina and Georgia refused to do it. And you know, the argument that I hear on television or on the radio from talk show hosts is they don't even know history. They open their traps and they talk about stuff, and they don't know anything about the history of this country. I don't know where they get their crap, or if somebody's writing it for them, but they don't understand history. The Founding Fathers wanted to abolish slavery. South Carolina and Georgia said no. They even refused, they even threatened to pull out of the Union so that the United States would not happen. So they decided to revisit it 20 years. Then we had the War of 1814, or 1812 into 1814. Okay, that put things to a hold. Then as the country began to expand and go west, slavery began to expand as well. This was an issue. Okay, and in the 1860s, when Abraham Lincoln was sworn as the president, all of this came to a head. It was not only about slavery, though there were a lot of other issues, central government, etc., telling the southern states what they could do, what they couldn't do. Now, point of fact, north of Virginia, in 1862, when the Civil War started, no one in the North owned slaves. There was no slavery in the North. It was only in the South. Okay? Abraham Lincoln was not a Democrat, even though the Democrats post his picture everywhere and try to take credit for him. Point of fact, Abraham Lincoln founded the Republican Party. Okay? So there's a lot of hypocrisy over there that makes me want to throw up. And if you look at the history, again, of the Democratic Party, the oldest party in this country, Thomas Jefferson's party, as a matter of fact, okay? Who resisted freeing the slaves? It was the Democrats. Who resisted women's suffrage? It was the Democrats. Who resisted giving women the vote? It was the Democrats. Who resisted the civil rights movement? It was the Democrats. Okay? It seems to me that what they're doing now by throwing shade on everyone else is that they are trying to erase their past by blaming it on everyone else. And the dumber the population is, the more they're going to go for this bullshit. And that's what it is. The hypocrisy is so thick that it's like molasses. And I'm amazed that more people are not calling them on it. I mean, if you were to go on YouTube and listen to a speech by Jack Kennedy in 1960, 1961, even 1962, you would think he was Ronald Reagan. Honest to God, I mean, the party has gone so far off the reservation that they don't even look like what they were. It's amazing. It really is. Now, the Republicans are not innocent in this at all. No, sir, they're not. There have been plenty of mistakes to go around. They promise to get rid of things, they promise to do things, and when it's time to step up, they don't do it. So it looks like they're full of shit as well. Which is why we, the people, have got to decide what it is that we want. Because if we don't, we're going to get more and more and more of this stuff. And this is not going to move anyone forward. It's not. Okay, what they're doing is they're clinging to power that isn't real, that really doesn't exist, and they will take down this country and 330 million people in order to protect it. That just can't be allowed to happen, folks. That just cannot be allowed to happen. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Point of fact, okay? And I don't want to get all political. I don't. But, I am an American. And, America was an ideal. And that ideal was, it didn't matter what your name was. It didn't matter who your father was. It didn't matter what your station was in the country that you fled from. When you came here, it was understood that you had the opportunity to be free, to worship the way you wanted, and you had value. You could take your skills and create and build something for yourself and your family. It was a place where people could come and build a home that they could own and pass on. And that it was a really, really big deal in the day. That was a really big deal. And we've lost a lot of that. We've made huge mistakes. The treatment of the Native Americans, the treatment of the African Americans. You know, one of the things that they never talk about is how the West, how we all moved west. At the end of the Civil War, you know, most of the cowboys were black. They were, but they never portray that in movies, you know. They don't. But they were, most of them were African Americans who were freed slaves who went west. They're like, I'm out of here, you know, and who could blame them? So, yeah, it's, but where are we going to go, right? If you're an American, where are you going to go? You'll never be this free in Mexico. Canada is, they don't want you for the most part, okay, unless you have a specific amount of money and a job already. Where are you going to go? You know, and you know, it's interesting that everybody's arguing over something that happened 160 something years ago regarding slavery. There is slavery still alive on this planet right now. Why aren't we going to those countries and protesting? Why aren't we picketing those people? Why aren't we throwing rocks at those people who are still enslaving people on this planet? You know, and here they want to argue about something that happened so long ago. I mean, my God, we are multi-diverse. We have diversity through all of our political institutions, county institutions, colleges. We've had a black president, a black Secretary of State. I mean, good Lord. You know, where does it end? There are so many other things to be talking about. You know, if you're really that much against slavery, end it now or the rest of the world. Okay? Don't tear this nation apart because there's nowhere else to go. What are you thinking? There's nowhere else to go. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Can you do your best to describe genuine freedom?
I, myself, like everyone else here, I don't believe that I've actually experienced it. Genuine freedom. I don't believe I've ever experienced it either. And the only thing that I fall back on is what Visaya said, you know, so many, many years ago when I asked the question, what's going to happen to us? You know, what's going to happen to us? And, you know, and he said to be unconditionally free and responsible for oneself without being coerced to accept some higher authority. Now, taking that and seeing how the A's live, I totally get where he's coming from. Each one of those people that I've observed, and it's a given, my exposure has been limited to 91 days. That's other than the contacts, but that was just with really two beings. But to see them as a society, and my exposure to them was just limited to that window. And I didn't see all of it, okay? They're eager to laugh. They're devoted to family. They are devoted to each other. And it works. It absolutely works. There is just this code of behavior, of respect amongst all the people because the children see the adults acting that way, and the children grow up to be that way. And they understand that how they are, how they act, how they respect and treat each other is how future generations will act towards the same. And it's called the law of consistency. It doesn't mean one or two maybe go rogue, okay? But, you know, when you have a 90 percentile or higher of people who are benevolent, you're good. You know, you're good. Your society is healed and it's strong. That's the only example I have, but I don't know that I myself, like those of us here, have ever lived that way. You know, down here we always got someone telling us what to do. You know? And most of it's wrong. A lot of it's wrong. I mean, the bureaucracies that have been created to enslave us has essentially created so many rules and regulations that they've almost outlawed everyday life. Almost everything is a crime. It's ridiculous. And that's where you get back to what you said, JP, about common sense. People have just gotten to a place where they're like, we've had enough of this. You can't breathe without violating the law. And yet these corporations poison the air so that you can't breathe. You know, but they get to walk, and we're the ones who are being punished, just as an example. It's lunacy. And I am looking forward to the experience of actually feeling and knowing that I'm free. And then maybe we'll do a webinar. Well, maybe nobody will give a shit at that point about the webinars, because we'll all be, woo, we're free, we're good. You know, free at last, thank God we're free at last. You know, maybe it'll be like that. So
you'll be in a stadium, Alex. You won't be in a library room.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found it insightful, please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future updates. If you have any questions relating to today's video, please also leave them below. We read all the comments and take on board what our viewers have to say about Alex Collier's work. Remember, your support helps Alex Collier's knowledge and the messages from the Andromedans reach more people. If you'd like to support the channel even more, you can give us a super thanks tip by clicking the heart icon with a $sign. It really helps our team bring you more content. Also, be sure to visit alexcollier.org to sign up for our regular email newsletter. It's the best way to stay updated with the latest news, exclusive content, and upcoming live webinars. For the latest insights from Alex Collier, check out alexcollier.live. And if you want to explore over 250 past webinars, head over to alexcollier.tv. Thank you for being a part of this journey and supporting Alex Collier's work. We couldn't do this without you, and we're genuinely grateful for your support. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the vast mysteries of our universe. If you would like to see the Andromedan Contactee Alex Collier live via video stream, we hold a live online seminar every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information on upcoming live webinars, please visit alexcollier.org.